Mm.
It's really nice to be able to, to have that freedom also in your relationship to travel and be like, okay, honey, guess what? They need me for more things, and just to have that support of your family, it's really
Yeah.
helpful, because you are, going to all these different locations and you're dedicated to it. And also, I feel like it's very adventurous because you really kind of don't know what you're going to get into. It sounds like you go to a place, you're thinking it may be this, and that, and then
Yep.
this comes along,
Yeah,
you know.
like, I never really expected to be doing surgery on a rhesus monkey, or a
Yeah.
giant flying bat, or, seeing an elephant in a zoo that, had a foot infection. And this elephant
Oh,
was
wow.
was rescued from a sort of a mistreatment situation.
Yeah.
So, but what I've now come to expect is that I've come to expect the unexpected. So,
Yeah.
this is why people are like, oh, you're just going to go and do another spay neuter clinic. This one just happens to be in Panama. First of all, that's enough. That's wicked fun. But what they don't realize is I'm going to be in the jungle of Panama in this open sort of building that has no walls, just pillars and then a roof. And there's
Hi.
howler monkeys screaming
Yeah.
at me, howling at me while I'm doing
Hmm.
surgery. Like, how amazing is that? And I get a little bit
Exactly.
of surfing in at the same time. So,
Right on.
none of the trips have been boring, thank goodness.
Right.
And it's because I know that they're going to be a challenge. They're going to be difficult. They're going to be fun. They're going to be long hours, and they're going to be things that I wasn't prepared for. But once I sort of follow back into the training that I have through university and through 27 years of being a veterinarian now, I don't think I'm able to do it, but I am able to do it. I've quickly learned that we're all much more capable maybe than we think we are. We just have to sort of trust in the process.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Mm.
And, sometimes you have to do stuff that maybe scares you a little bit,
A
you
hundred
know,
percent. Yeah, 100%.
because it's it's going to be okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, especially when you're pursuing things like this in your life and these adventures. And
Yep.
it's
Yep.
also nice that it's always different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that can be appealing to, like my brain. That would be very appealing to my brain,
I
the
love it. I love it.
variety and that type of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, even I go into my clinic and I don't know what's going to be on the board of things for me to do the following day. I just walk in and go, oh, look, we got this surgery and that surgery, but they're generally routine, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas when I go to the wildlife place, I sometimes have colleagues come with me or vet students, volunteers, and they go,
Mm.
oh, what are we going to be doing today? I have no idea. They go,
Yeah.
what? They don't tell you? No, I
Nope.
just show up and there's a list
Yep.
and we figure it out. And don't you need to study? Not anymore. No, not
No,
really.
it's okay.
And I'll just study when I'm there. Like if I need to, I'll just pull up. I'll check these things called books with pages in them.
Yes.
You know,
Different from the interweb.
what they're used to nowadays.
Right.
So I like it. I like it that way. I like having the unknown for sure.
Definitely. So I always ask everybody, you've been a veterinarian for 25 years, you
Yep.
say, and so, like, what was it when you were growing up? Is this something, you wanted to do? Was this a dream of yours? That type of thing.
Yeah. So I was the only one in my life that didn't realize I was going to be a veterinarian when I was growing up. Um,
Everybody else knew it before
Everybody
you did.
else
That sounds like a
apparently
coming out story.
yeah, there you go. Well, there you go. I'm out of the
I
closet.
mean, yeah.
Out of the furry closet. No, that's not right. It's not a
No,
furry
don't,
closet.
no.
That's a whole
It's
different
not. It's
process.
another one.
That's a whole. Maybe that's why I'm. No, I'm not. No.
I mean, I can't even talk about that. That's not part of my my
There you go.
community. But I can
So,
talk about coming out though. That's
so
so funny.
like I was the type of kid that took care of the class bunny rabbit and hamster
Mm,
and took it home for the long weekend when no one was willing to. And
Right.
during show and tell, instead of me bringing in my new Hot Wheels car or whatever, my own new RC car, I would bring in the feather of a seagull that I found at the beach. And I would explain
Cool.
with great detail, the anatomy of this feather, probably to the boredom of everybody in my class. Years later, I mean, obviously, I decided to get into vet school. I worked really hard. I got in when I was much younger than most people, graduated when I was quite young. Years later, about 13, 14 years ago, I had this TV show on community cable called Your
Hmm.
Pet, Your Vet, where people call in and just ask
Right.
questions, right? And I started getting these calls on my phone from like my
Mm.
teacher or my second aunt, or I mean it was usually like teachers and whatnot, and they all
Right.
said, we knew you were in grade 5, 10 years old, Mrs. Burak, if you're listening. We knew, I knew you were going to be a veterinarian, and here's why. And I
Wow.
was like, I had no idea. So I guess I was meant to do this. I absolutely love it. I know
Yeah.
there's a big problem with burnout and compassion fatigue in the veterinarian world,
Hmm.
and I empathize and sympathize with my colleagues.
Right.
But I don't have that. I work really hard, a lot of long
Wonderful.
hours, and things sometimes end in tragedy. But I am
Yeah.
so fitted for this job. I absolutely love it. I'm going
Hmm.
to do it until you're rolling me over in the grave, and I'll still be
I
dreaming
love
about it
it.
in the netherworld, probably.
Right. I love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how I feel about dog training too, and behavior. I feel the same way. It's a
beautiful.
passion. I was just in a meeting last night, and I was like, I said this dog training is like the mafia to me. Like I just can't get out. Even if I
You
want
gotta
to get
fit
out,
in.
I can't. It's like I'm here, they're here, everybody's always asking. It's like you just so yeah,
Yeah,
it's wonderful to be able to have a passion as your career for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. 100%. I
Yeah,
love it. I
yeah,
love it, and it's
that's
nice. Like for me, especially now that I travel and volunteer, I can see to the future now. Like I know, okay,
yeah.
eventually I'm going to retire, and we're going to live half of our years in Greece. But I
Hmm.
know I'm going to be volunteering in Greece, and I know, oh, wait a minute, surfing season's coming up in Costa Rica. I'm going to go and surf and volunteer at the animal rescue. I will always have skills that are needed. I will just do it a few less hours. So again, so I can surf more.
Right. Exactly. You can call your own shots
Yep. Yep.
and
So I
still be
like, I
retired.
like
Yeah.
knowing what my calling is, what my
Yeah.
retirement world's going to be like.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's just fascinating and exciting at the same time
Mm,
too.
yeah.
Um, so you've mentioned, is it Safe Hope or
No, it's hope for shades of hope. Shades of hope.
Shades of Hope?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this similar to what I've seen on television in the past,
The hope
Hope
for
in the
wildlife.
Wild?
Yeah, hope for
Or yeah,
wildlife.
is
No,
that
I mean they're very close friends. Hope for wildlife. I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Hope, and she has
hmm
a rescue in the East Coast. I think it's in New Brunswick. It's either New Brunswick or
okay.
Nova Scotia.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, not the same. Not the same. They're just
Okay.
friends. Yeah, they're
All
just
right.
friends.
Now, Hope, does Hope stand for anything?
Nope, nope.
No,
It's just
it's just hope. Just
shades
the
of
word
hope
hope
wildlife.
and
Yeah,
shades of
yeah.
hope. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
It's
it's beautiful.
excellent. That's
It's an
excellent.
amazing organization. The woman who started it, Gail, she's an animal lover. She's not a technician. She's not a veterinarian, anything like that. She owns a printing company, and she just slowly she bought some land. She lives on a nice little house, and slowly has built up this community and this rescue where now it is a certified accredited animal hospital. They were the first wildlife rehab to become a veterinarian hospital, I think in Canada,
Mm,
which was shortly before I showed up, before their veterinarian who helped sort of found it,
hmm
retired for good, Dr. Woodley. So, they have an X-ray machine. They got a surgical unit. They've got massive runs. They now have built this giant flight building with this circular flight path, so birds can just constantly fly, instead of having to go to another place that has flying capabilities to train these birds. So it's it's just passion and hard work, and she's been able to build this amazing all charity run, no government funding, nothing, all through donations. I absolutely love being associated with them.
That's amazing. At these zoos and other sanctuaries, are any of them doing any kind of like enrichment programs or target training programs for the animals to be able to accept, the vaccinations and that type of stuff?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Like there was again, Kingston Zoo, and most of the places I work with are sort of wildlife based, where we're treating the animals on the street and then releasing them. But like when I went to Jamaica, again, I was learning so much because this was my first trip and I'd never dealt with these kinds of animals. They had a lion that had come from the US that was illegally kept, or maybe legally. There's some states that allow you. I think there's more lions and tigers, or more tigers in captivity in Texas than in the entire wild. That's something I've heard.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Not only in captivity, but in private ownership. So this lion was ill cared for, and so the Kingston Zoo took it, and they were basically, they would give it food on a pole, and then they would give it food on a pole, and at the same time have another pole that was striped red in the vicinity. And then later on, that striped red pole would just go through the cage without touching the lion, and they would just give a treat. So it was slowly, and then eventually the red pole would touch the lion. And they did this over 6 months to desensitize the lion, and the lion would go, oh, whenever that red pole comes out, I'm getting a treat. And then it started to have, it started to have like 28 gauge needles on it, and then 26 gauge needles, and slowly bigger and bigger needles. And they could poke it, and the lion would be like, all right, I'm going to get this little poke, but I'm going to get this yummy piece of liver or whatever. So it was a really interesting, I was like, how are you going to be able to, vaccinate, or how are you going to be able to put on a cream or something like that? And so they taught me how this positive reinforcement works. So it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's great to hear and to be able to witness, zoos and other places do have a program of enrichment where they're using Kong toys and different ways of slow feeders, and to burn off that mental stimulation and exercise them, as well as teaching them to target, or doing the classical counter conditioning, or even doing operant conditioning with them. Operant conditioning is so much faster, really. Clicker training, it works so well. And it's for me training dogs. It's like, listen, if we can do this with a lion, or, a wolf, or, a whale, we can do this with your dog. Absolutely can do this. And, this is how we're going to do it. And it's going to be fast. And, because you can't hold these animals down, because you'll get killed, you have to treat them right.
I'm sure though that quite often a pet owner goes, oh no, but my dog, my dog's not going to fall for it. Like, he's just different. He's just smarter, or more stubborn, or whatever. It's like, okay, well, let's just try. Let's just see, maybe it's you. maybe you don't want to say it, but that's it.
No, sometimes you think it. Listen, man, your dog's fine. You're the problem, But, I've had people say, well, my dog's not food motivated. And I'm like, well, your dog has to eat to survive. So we've got to change some things. What's going on what are you feeding? How are you doing it, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, it's just, I like to hear that, we've got these organizations that are out there and they're
Yeah.
treating these animals right.
Yeah,
But
they're working on
yeah,
it. I have had problems with like true enrichment in the sense of like the monkey that we did surgery on in India,
mm,
and I had no experience with monkeys.
right.
She ended up she had an injury on her hand that I didn't think was serious, and I was dealing with the head wounds and the broken jaw and whatnot. But
Oh,
she
wow.
ended up while in this sort of enclosure, this cage, she ended up self cannibalizing her fingers,
Oh,
and
wow.
maybe there was some nerve damage, but it was
Yeah.
also stress.
That's
And
so, yeah.
and I had said, well, they'd said, yeah, we think she's stressed out, so we're now going to add all these toys, and we're going to put her on some anti-anxiety medication. And I just had to say, okay, I don't know anything about monkeys, but if you knew that was the situation, why wouldn't you just every single monkey that's here that's in an enclosure because it's
Mhm.
seriously injured, stick them on Prozac, give them the swinging tire to play with. At worst case, they don't need it, but don't wait for there to be a problem to then solve. Try and avoid that
Right.
problem. So there's still a lot of work to
Right.
be done, but at least they're trying, and they were open to suggestions, so that was great.
Yeah. Yeah, it is great because it's a mental deterioration, and
Yeah,
dogs and cats deal with it in the shelters and stuff. And some animals deteriorate very quickly,
yeah.
and some takes time. But yeah, it's interesting. But um, what else? What else? I want. How long have you been doing? I think you may have mentioned it, but when did you really start doing more of the we'll say exotic animals and traveling to these different countries?
Yeah, it started. It'll be in August. It'll be 9 years. I went to Jamaica, and
Hmm.
my original plan, although I was volunteering and I was happy to volunteer, is I had this idea for a world traveling veterinarian sort of fish out of water TV show, right? Like a docuseries. And so I'm like, all right,
Yes, you mentioned that.
I hired, air quotes, hired some film student graduates. I basically said, look, I can't pay you, but I'm going to give you a free trip to Jamaica for 3 weeks, and I will
Hmm.
cover your accommodations and all the beer and pizza you want. And I had
Right.
a lineup of people wanting to come.
Nice.
So we filmed all this stuff, and I continued to film, but it became less and less about the filming and more about the volunteer work and the traveling because I
Mm,
fell in love with it. So since then, like in order, I did Jamaica. I then did the wildfires in Greece, as well as
mhm,
Peros, the island, and then India. And that was the first time my daughter joined me.
mhm,
She was a bit of a animal rescuer trainee. She had done some
mhm,
volunteer work with me at Shades of Hope. So she came to India, which was her first trip out of North America, which
mm.
is hilarious because it was quite a culture shock. And then
Right.
together, her and I went to Cairo, Egypt, right pretty much when the pandemic was starting, before
Oh,
we all
wow.
knew the world was shutting down.
Mhm.
And
Oof.
then we did Panama, and then we went to Ukraine. We went to Ukraine at the border at Poland and
Oh,
Ukraine.
wow.
About 3 or 4 weeks into the war, I was seeing these stories. I knew they needed
Mm,
veterinarians because people were bringing their animals out and they need to
mhm,
be checked before they're coming into Poland and going to Italy and whatnot. My
mhm.
daughter was actually on a backpacking trip through Europe that was both vacation and volunteer work. And I
Right.
just messaged her and my sons and said, hey, your dad's, just so you know, your dad in a couple of days, last minute notice, is jumping on a plane. I'm going to go volunteer at the border. And my daughter texted me back and said, well, I'm in Spain. So if you get me a ticket, I'll meet you there.
Wow.
I was like, all right, don't tell your mother.
Oh.
My ex-wife at the time. Now we fell in love with it and fell in love with the people and so devastated with what they were going through that
Yeah.
later that summer, so it'll be 2 years now, almost to the day, without my daughter for obvious reasons, I went into Kharkiv, into the war zone, and worked
Wow.
with the military unit there and dealing with the animals that had been shot or
Mm,
burned or rubble fell on them, that sort of thing.
mm,
And then from there, India again, which is where we filmed the documentary. The joke is when you almost get hit with a Russian missile, which did happen, almost. Life is pretty short, so you might as well get a second mortgage and do a documentary.
Yeah, man.
And then I've done 2
Go all the way.
trips. Yeah, I've done 2 trips in January, like one January after the other, to the Arctic North, where there's no veterinarian in this community called Iqaluit. 7,000 people, no vet, and I'm the only guy crazy enough to go up in January when it is minus
Oh my
40
God.
Celsius.
That's like the worst month to go.
It is, except
Maybe.
that's when they needed me the most, because other vets will
Right,
go up
of
in the spring and
course.
summer. It's so pretty up there. It
Is
is
it?
like, if you're a Star Wars fan, it's like Empire Strikes Back on Tauntaun. No, Tauntaun's the name of the creature. Endor on Endor, the snowy planet. So it's gorgeous. And look, I work all day, and then I go to the North America's northernmost brewery
Nice,
in the
nice.
evening.
Get a
So
good IPA.
yes,
Yeah.
it was good. And they'd go, "Hey, you're the vet
Nice.
guy. Here's a
Yeah,
drink."
come on.
So
Nice.
it was a
That's
good time,
awesome.
and it was so good. I've gone twice, and I'll probably go every single January. I've adopted 2 dogs already, one
Get
each
out.
trip.
That's so funny. I
And
love it.
yeah, they're amazing trips. I absolutely love it, and like I said, I'm gonna keep going, keep going, and keep going,
I
and keep going.
love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I really, really hope your documentary gets picked up here in the
I hope
States.
so. It's going to
It,
eventually, and
it'll be fun to watch just based on what you and I are talking about. So I hope that
yeah,
happens.
and the reality is if a year from now, a year and a half from now, it's not being picked up, well, then it's not going to happen. Well, then I'll put it on YouTube myself and just open it
Yeah,
up for free, right? But I don't
exactly.
want to do that right now because I want somebody to pay me
No,
for it.
exactly.
But
Exactly.
it's a really good documentary. We went to a bunch of film festivals. Won the New York TV Film Festival in New York City. We won best
Hmm.
pilot episode. In the Studio
Sweet.
City LA Film Festival, we won best documentary. Like
Sweet.
it's a good film, and
Yeah.
someone important needs to see it and then make a
Come on,
show out of it.
people. Let's
Like,
go, America.
talk to your
Do
Congress
something
people.
nice.
I
Do
don't know how
something
it
nice for Canada, people.
works. There you
Pick up
go.
a documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be great and it would go well. For sure. Let's see, what else did I want. I've got like my mind is going in a few different places. Um, oh, okay. So there were wildfires up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're still happening now, but
Not
did you
really.
did you see when things were really kind of going, I think last year or the year before? Did you see animals from being displaced from that kind of
Yeah,
natural
they're far
disaster?
enough away from the GTA, the Greater Toronto area that I'm in,
Hmm.
that there's so many dog and cat rescues and wildlife rescues
Okay.
in between them and me. But
Hmm.
the animals here were affected because the air quality was affected. I mean, even
Right.
you guys, there was a time a year or two
Uh-huh.
ago where New York was covered in smoke coming
Yep.
from the Canadian wildfires. So there's
Yeah.
free trade for you. We're sharing with
That's
you our fresh air.
we like it.
You
Thank
can have
you.
our oil and you can have our smog.
Just
It's
want the
usually the
maple
other way
syrup.
around. And the
Yeah,
maple
right?
syrup. That's right.
Yeah, that's all I want.
I would bring maple syrup because Canada has the best maple syrup. I would
Of
bring maple
course.
syrup to my trips and like give them as
Yeah.
gifts. And I remember giving them to Dr. Ahmed, who was in Egypt, so an Arabic
Yeah.
man,
Oh
and
my God, you
he
must have
didn't know
loved
what it
it.
was. And I kept saying maple syrup, and then he said, "So it goes on my hair?" Like he thought it was some sort of shampoo,
Ah,
and I kept trying to explain what pancakes are, and his English wasn't great. And then I realized, oh, you probably also speak a bit of French, which I don't
mm,
really speak French. I had to take it in high school, but I've forgotten it all because I've been learning Greek. And
right.
I finally said
Challenge.
it's for crepes, crepes, crepes.
Ah,
And
yes.
he was like, oh, and then he tried it. So There you go. We are connecting over the love of maple syrup.
I mean, food, it brings it together
It
for
brings
real.
everybody together. It brings everyone together.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maple syrup is amazing from Canada. I went to a food show and there was a trade show and there was Canadian maple syrup. And I was just like, oh my
So good.
God, it was
So good.
so amazing.
So
It's
good.
different. It's just so much better,
Yeah.
I think. But
It is.
um,
It is.
yeah, it is. So where can people find you if people want to just support you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do you have do you have a website? Do you have a place where
Mhm.
people can say, "Hey, can we send you what can we send you to help on your next trip
Yep.
abroad?" type of thing.
Yeah, and most of these trips I do sort of on my own dime, but like when I went to Ukraine, I ended up raising between the two trips 150 grand. Now that's
Hmm.
Canadian, so that's about 110 grand American,
Hmm.
both in money and also in human pharmaceuticals that were desperately needed. But
Right.
they can follow me on Instagram at Dr. Cliff Worldwide Vet, so Dr. Cliff
Hmm.
Worldwide Vet, or they can check out my website, which has a little newsletter sign up. You just kind of keep an eye on things. That is drcliff.ca. And as far as donations, I mean, check out Shades of Hope. They'll take donations, or frankly, donate to your local animal rescue and rehabber in
Hmm.
your state or in your community. I would just love to hear about that.
Yeah, definitely. We just adopted this our little guy, Tony. He had a broken jaw. He was
Oh
found
no.
on the side of the road. Yeah, it was so it's a sad story. Um, he's crazy as all get out. He's 5 months old now. Um, but yeah, he had a bilateral break and they found him. And this is just a great rescue that took care of him and they put a lot into him. And one of my friends, she's a vet tech and over in the Tampa Bay area, and she fostered him and stuff. But yeah, he's amazing. He really is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's important for people to support causes that are like what you're doing, what people who rescued Tony are doing, and to just and even the people and stuff and the
Hmm.
veterinarians, you guys work really hard, you deal with a lot, and I think it's important, so
Yeah.
that you guys get your
Yeah.
support too.
Yeah. I think I like to on my podcast. I'll end it often with saying, be kind to animals, but also be kind to each other and be kind to yourself.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, very
100%
important.
for sure. Yeah. So let me ask you before we end or wrap up. First of all, do you have anything else you would like to share about your adventures in life and the
Um,
pets?
we could go on and on and on. So I'll just say
I know.
you gotta have me back in about a year because I
I
have a
will.
book. I've signed with a publisher. I have a book coming out in about a year
Right.
that talks about
Congrats.
all of these trips. Yeah, I literally just got the first advancement check in the mail today.
Yay, congrats.
I haven't even opened it. It's not a lot, but
Okay.
it just shows that they're committed. And it
First
will be
step.
distributed throughout North America, Europe, and Australia as a minimum.
Hmm.
So keep your eye out for that, and please have me back in a year. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I
I
guess that's
will.
about it. Yeah,
Excellent. Excellent. Oh,
appreciate it.
what pets do you have? Do you
I
have
have
any
so
pets now
I
or you don't
I
because you
have
travel?
no. I've got three dogs.
Hmm.
My wife came, my girlfriend, and then wife came with a Labradoodle named
Hmm.
Thalia, who might possibly be the best dog I have ever met.
Thalia. So
Named
Greek.
Thalia. But
Uh-huh.
then it is very Greek, of course. But then on my first trip back, or my first trip to Iqaluit, there was a little 6 week old Jack Russell Corgi cross
Aw.
with a prolapsed anus. So
Aw.
she needed multiple surgeries. So she came back with us because they weren't going to have a veterinarian there.
Mm.
And we named her Lana because Lana spelled backwards is anal. And
You guys are hilarious.
I used to tell everyone she had a reverse anal. She had a reverse anus. My wife changed her name to Poppy to Penelope, also Greek. She's like, I can't call her that, knowing what that means. Um,
Yes.
and then
Make it her middle name.
that's right. And then my last trip in January, I came back with an entire litter of German Shepherd Corgi crosses, and one of them turned
Yeah.
into a foster fail. And he
Hmm.
lives with us now. His name is Bo. He's 7
Oh
months
my
old,
goodness.
and his mother was Shepherd Corgi, and his father was a res dog.
Wow.
And I mean, he was from north of Iqaluit. He was above the
Oh
Arctic
wow.
Circle, where there's
Damn.
no light for 6 weeks.
You
No
saw some
sunlight.
action.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy. So he's a bit of a savage. He's a bit of a goofball, but we're working with him on clicker training. So
Yes.
yeah, we got to get
Right
there. We got
on.
to get there. He's a good boy.
It's so easy. If you need
Yeah,
any help, I would be more than happy to help
I
you guys
appreciate
out.
that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, it's so easy. I've been Karen Pryor. I studied with her years ago when I first started. Unfortunately, she passed away this year.
Hmm.
But I just watched a clip of her, just a video, an interview with her talking about like the beginning of her career and everything. It's fascinating. So,
Yeah,
yeah, clicker training is really, it's very fast. It's easy. Anybody can do it, and it's just a beautiful thing.
I
And
love it.
I wish everybody would do it. I really do, because it's so
Yeah,
damn easy.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
great for the dogs. And
Yeah.
especially when you and the dog gets it, it's like, oh, it's magical.
Yeah, 99.9% of dogs, probably all of them, they want to make their family happy. The trick is just getting them to understand what that is,
Yeah, that's,
instead of
yeah,
just saying, stop
reinforcing all the
doing that,
good.
stop doing that. They don't understand.
Right.
All they hear is blah, 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 blah. They don't
Right.
know what you're doing. So,
Exactly.
yeah, so it's just it's a method of instant reward and communication.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, perfect.
Reinforce the positive, the
Absolutely.
good, ignore the bad when you can. Sometimes
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
can't, but you
exactly.
can work around it.
Yeah.
But all right, Dr. Cliff,
It
it
was
was
so much
so
fun.
great. I know, it was so great speaking with you. I will definitely have you back in a year.
Perfect.
Um, this is gonna probably air in 2 or 3 weeks, and I will send a link
Beauty.
in the morning. I usually drop them on Wednesdays, that type of
Excellent.
schedule. Well, not usually.
Excellent.
I do drop them every Wednesday. Sometimes it's a little late in the morning, but technology, and I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah,
savvy.
yeah.
But I am going to end the recording, but if you would mind staying on with me so I make sure it uploads to the cloud and
Yep.
does its thing.
My pleasure.
So, but
Yeah, I can
yeah,
do
all
that.
right. Yeah, all right, cool. But it was really great doing the interview
It was
with
fun.
you for sure. I had a lot of fun.